it really comes down to that. If you don't have the right mindset, it's going to be impossible for you to get to where you're trying to get to. But if you work on your mindset, it's going to be so much easier for you to just get to your destination.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Design of Future podcast. Today, I've got a very, very special guest on. I've got Jon on today. With that being said, Jon, just please go ahead and introduce yourself for me.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? So my name's Jon. I'm from London. I'm an entrepreneur. I run a marketing agency and we work with e-commerce brands. And now I'm moving into my passion, which is really helping entrepreneurs master their mindset. A quick backstory of myself. I struggled for 3 years trying to make money online while I was working at a supermarket. And it was like 3 years of just, going after all the tactics, going through the courses, and nothing seemed to work for me. But then once I started to work on my mindset, that's when everything clicked for me. And I see there's a big kind of problem out there. A lot of people are chasing the tactics and they're missing the mindset part of it, man. So that's a small backstory on me. I'm sure I'll put my links below. I've got a video on my channel where I really document my whole 3 years. I videoed everything so people can go and check that out if they want, man. So that's me.
Definitely, man. And that's, I think, I've got to give credit where credit is due, because I think that's what made me fall in love with the content you've been creating, is the fact that you documented everything up until where you are now. Like that's what I love so much, because that's what I've done as well. Like if you look back at my channel, you can see how it's changed from, like, I used to work in a gym and it was just me and my friend that worked in there just literally messing around, and now it's like changed over time to this sort of like business content. So yeah, firstly, like hats off for like just documenting over creating as well, man, because people, I think, will resonate with you so much because they've seen that journey and how you've progressed over the years. One thing I'd like to discuss as well before I get into the questions and stuff, you've been with your partner for a very, very long time. I have also. Yeah. I'd like to just, for my own like insanity as well, just to sort of like break this down for people that are in different situations, whether they're, an entrepreneur and they're single versus an entrepreneur that has grown up with like a significant other, in a sense, right? So like my other half, I've been with her since I was like 15, and
really nice.
We've grown up like together, and she's had me like crying in her shoulders like many a times, like I don't know what I'm doing, or I need to do this, I need to do that. So talk to me a little bit about how it's been, obviously having Mia like by the side of you, and how you've sort of developed over the years.
Yeah, so I met Mia I met her when we was 11 in high school. We got together at 13, so we've been together since 13. We're now 24, about to turn 25, so it's been like 12 years. And yeah, it's like we pretty much, from when we was in school, we then went on to college together. And then from college, we both worked in a supermarket together. And then after college and saving up, we traveled Southeast Asia together. And that's where our journey began, because we started like making vlogs on YouTube, right? So we do daily vlogs, and we traveled for like 5 months, edited out a video, like filmed and edited a video every single day.
You done daily vlogs for 5 months?
Yeah, bro. I'll have to link you the channel, but it was.
Jeez, yeah, I want to watch that. I want to watch that.
Yeah, so we done that, and from there we was just always in business together. So like all the ideas we had, it'd always be like us trying to figure it out together, and we grew massively together, right? Just trying different ideas, and we were always doing it together. And I think, to kind of answer your question, yeah, when you have a partner, it can be good and it can be bad as well. If you're working with them in a business, sometimes you can have conflicting ideas, sometimes it can get in the way of the relationship. But I think overall, it's like having someone there who you can just consult with or be with massively helps you get to the next level, man. So Olley, I kind of forgot the original question. What was the original question? I started going off on a tangent there.
No, I think that's completely relevant. But like, for you to get your opinion on it is, yeah, because like when I used to work in a gym, for example, just before I re-asked you it, right, is like, that's one main thing. Like the guy I used to work with, his other half would come into the gym and he would try and train her, and it just wouldn't happen. Like it was like, okay, as soon as they started having that sort of encounter with each other, they just bounced off each other, and it was just like ending in arguments. And I found like it was the same when I used to work there. Sarah would come in and be like, oh, could you train me? And then all of a sudden we're having like a heated argument, because I don't know, it's hard. And that's why I thought like I had to ask you that question, because it's completely different now running what I'm running now versus Sarah coming into my workspace and almost being like a client of mine versus having someone, like your other half that you can speak with and speak honestly about. But yeah, so it was like just about having like your other half also involved in the business with you, and not, you know, not working like a 9 to 5 and then you're out doing this and you're probably working around the clock sort of thing. So yeah, just how you sort of developed together really.
Yeah, so that's basically it. But one thing I would say is what we used to do, right? We didn't delegate, so we'd both be doing the same thing, and it was like, you know, that's when you start to have arguments, because one of you has one idea and then the other one has another idea, and then it just conflicts and it's just a mess, right? So we decided to delegate better. So we understood, okay, what's your strengths? What are your strengths? Then we'd start to just do that and then let them get on with it, and we wouldn't talk about it. Because if we would, let's say, you know, we would be talking about it at dinner table, we'd be talking about it in the morning, it'd just always be getting brought up, like, what do you think about this outreach idea? Or what do you think about this client campaign? And it's just like, nah, it wasn't working like that. So yeah, we just decided delegate, and then from there we just don't talk about stuff. And it was hard, but over time you just get better and better at it, man.
Amazing. And what do you do to switch off together now?
Yeah, so one of the things we do, which I think has allowed us to just be so, like, our relationship, honestly, like, it gets better and better. It's just thriving, it grows, right? And one of the things we do, which I see, be honest with you, like, I see a lot of couples that don't do it, communicate, man. Like, you go out for a meal and you see couples there and they're on their phones. So we'll have days, like, we'll just go out, maybe let's say on a weekend day, or even if we meet up in the evening one time, we'll go out in the evening, we just turn our phones off and we just connect and be with each other. And it's so easy to let these phones just sidetrack you from what's really important. And that's one of the things that has allowed us to just really switch off. And then other than that, you know, we love going on walks together. We share quite a lot of things in common, but honestly, like, just getting rid of the mobile phone, it will change your relationship if you just eliminate that when you're together.
That's unreal, man. Unreal. What's one thing that you've done that you're certain none of my previous guests have done?
What's one thing that I've done? Probably when I was 20 to 20, I think 22. 20 to 22, I traveled to 21 countries, man, which was pretty good.
Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah,
And with your other half as well, it's incredible.
yeah.
Would you just because we, you know, me and Sarah actually come back from 3 months of traveling like the end of last year, would you, knowing like what you know now and being where you've been, would you do that again?
Oh, 100%, man. I would not hesitate, because the only thing I'd do differently, when I went traveling, I was like, oh, I want to set up an online business. That's when I started vlogging. The only thing I'd do differently is I would have found somebody who was already proven to be doing that and just copy them. I tried to reinvent the wheel kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
My goal was to travel and make money online. I was like, oh, let me just do vlogs, but it didn't pay me the way I thought.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would have just done it again, but I would have stayed on road, because I went traveling and I was like, my plan was to go to Southeast Asia, vlog, my channel would blow up. We've done all right. We got a few thousand subscribers, and then just travel forever. But then we came back, and then when we came back, it was like trying to figure stuff out for like 2 years, and nothing was working, man. So I would just find somebody who'd already done what I want to do, but 100% travel. Like, traveling is the number one thing I feel like everyone should do. It opens your eyes up, man. It allows you to really live your life, you know?
100%, 100%. John, let's imagine that you can only keep 3 apps on your phone. I come in and I delete every single app from your phone, and you can only keep 3 of them. Which apps are you keeping?
Oh, I wish my phone wasn't dead, because on my home screen I have like no apps, right?
Really? I asked that as well because obviously there's all of your videos are like I turn my phone off from this time to this time. So
yeah, so if there was going to be 3 apps I'd have, that's a good question. That's a really good question, Olley, man. All right, so I'd have an app called OneNote, which is basically, it's like Evernote. It's just a Microsoft OneNote, so you can sync it up to your computer and to your phone, and I keep all my notes on there, like video notes, everything, right? OneNote, is this apps that you would download, or are you talking about like even having your phone app?
I'm talking like, yeah, any sort of apps, the apps that you need to get through the day. And obviously, the reason I definitely want to get your opinion is because, you know, you're very heavily on the fact that you don't use your phone as much as you can.
Yeah. Okay, so I'd have OneNote, Spotify for like podcasts, and obviously music as well. And lastly, I would say my camera. I would use those, man, because you can get in contact with people so many other ways these days, man. But I would say camera to document stuff, Spotify to listen to podcasts and music, and then OneNote to just keep notes of stuff, man, and keep my mind occupied.
You're the first person to say the camera app, so I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
because
I
also,
love always filming though.
and also like that really opens up another book in a sense of like, do you create all your content that you've been creating through your through your phone?
Yeah, man. So I used to do it through it was like an old phone, old camera, like a G7X.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I do it from my phone, man. And mistake I made. I vlogged all of my trap when I moved to Amsterdam recently. I vlogged it all, and then I lost it all, man. I lost all my footage from moving to Amsterdam. But you got to back your phone up, man. That's a lesson for people here.
But even that though, man, like people always say like, oh, I'm not gonna start my channel until I've got the G7X and I've got the microphone, I've got the tripod, and like exactly what you just said. Like you just need to get going with what you've got and then make improvement as you progress.
Even now with my YouTube channel, I use my phone and I use a little mic for like £10 off Amazon that plugs into the phone. That's it, man. That's all you need. As long as you can convey your message and people can understand your message, that's all that matters.
Amazing, man. When it comes to habits and routines, what's like your fundamental advice? If you could just give your basics when it comes to creating habits and routines that are going to help you in the long run.
All right, so obviously there's a book called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, and he talks in there cue, routine, reward. And what I see a lot of people do is let's say they're like, oh, I want to wake up earlier, right? So they're like, oh, I want to wake up earlier. They put their alarm on and that's it. So what I do is I have my alarm goes off, I get out of bed, move around for 5 minutes whilst listening to audio that's already downloaded on my phone, and then I'll drink some water as well. So that's my routine. And then my reward is I have a coffee. I have like an espresso machine. When I moved to Amsterdam, I bought my espresso machine with me, right? Because that releases dopamine in my brain. So my brain's like, all right, waking up is good. Whereas if we're going to try and form a habit and we don't give ourselves that reward and that clear routine, it's like the alarm goes off, it's cold outside, it's dark. The last thing you want to do is get out of bed. So if you can relate that to a reward, then your brain basically automatically does it for you. So whenever you're trying to form any new behavior, right, you need to have a cue, a routine, and a reward. And then if you're trying to stop a bad behavior, I always say, again, you need to replace that. So let's say you find yourself scrolling on Instagram all the time. Find something that gives you that same reward. So maybe it's reading, right? It might not give you the same dopamine release, but something that's going to replace the habit. Because if you just try and stop something, right, like waking up early, you're always going to revert back to what's easy and comfortable. So you want to make the new habit more easier and more comfortable than the old one, if that makes sense.
Definitely. And John, with that being said, how do you go about, because like, listen, like people watching and listening, like it's all well and good saying, make a cue, have a reward for it, so on and so forth. What's sort of your routine when it comes to like breaking the routine? So let's say you have a bad day, we all have them at the end of the day, right? You can easily miss a day, for example, or you do something and it negatively impacts the remainder of your day and you don't then go on to tick off everything else that's on your list, right? But have you got like a certain way that you like bounce back from that sort of mindset? Like what do you do if you're in like a bad spot?
Yeah, man. So this is a great question. And to be honest with you, I think the answer would be it takes time and repetition. So like over the past few months and years, I've been able to train my mind to start to replace these old behaviors, right? So that's kind of the long answer. But the short answer I would say is it really comes down to like awareness, right? So first of all, you need to be aware of this behavior that you're doing. Once you can become aware of it, then you can start to put measures in place to change that. So I was making a video for my channel, right? And there's like 4 kind of components. So it's like, first you think about something, then it becomes a behavior in our mind, which is automatic. Then that shapes our identity, then that shapes our results. So if we just keep on trying to change our behavior without changing the thought before that, we're going to keep on doing that. So it really comes down to being aware of what your thoughts are. And then I use a journal or I visualize and I reprogram the way I'm seeing that thought. That's kind of the simple answer. But you've really got to understand how your thoughts are working, because your thoughts are going to create how you act, basically, man.
And one thing, we were speaking about before we hit record as well was, you openly speak about your smoking habits and how you've changed them. And that's something I definitely want to speak to you about is how did you go about sort of, like you said, replacing those habits with new and better income producing habits rather than smoking and, you know, essentially getting nothing done?
Yeah, man. So this is a great one. So I had been smoking weed on and off since I was like 13, right? So this is, again, it's like an ingrained habit. So
Mm.
smoking weed, and I'd be doing it pretty much throughout my teenage years. And then there'd be some times where I'd stop it, like when I went traveling to Asia, stopped it, then I'd start it again, then I'd stop it. And then eventually I moved out to Amsterdam, like midway this year. And when I moved out to Amsterdam, my dream was always like, when I set up my online business and I moved to Amsterdam, I'll just be smoking weed. That'll be it. Like, that's my dream. And I moved there and I was doing it for a little bit, like for a week. And then I just realized, I sat there one night and I was like, man, I need to stop this. And then God went cold turkey on it, man. So there, you know, it's kind of like, there are some behaviors that you can just have that kind of, that moment where you realize that this isn't serving me anymore. And
Yeah.
I just committed and I haven't gone back. But yeah, that's a weird one, because I just, one day I said enough's enough. But I think it was those times prior to that when I had stopped for a few months and then I gone back to it, and eventually I just had enough and I realized that this isn't serving me anymore. It's not worth it, and I just cut it off cold turkey, man.
Amazing, man. Amazing. And I think that is like, yeah, you cut it off cold turkey, but you was also, like you said, building other habits that was replacing that bad habit in the meantime, right?
Yeah.
What's some of the fundamentals for you when it comes to creating and managing a team? Like you said, you're running the marketing agency now, and you've obviously got media buyers, graphic designers, you know, and so on and so forth, virtual assistants. What's one of the key things when you've put those systems in place to, you know, because we spoke before and you were saying, you know, it's so automated at this point that I'm running out of things to do with my day to day. So how would you suggest someone going ahead and creating an A team like that?
So this is a lesson we learned this year, right? It's easy to find team members, right? Let's say, you know, they got Upwork, you got Facebook groups, there's so many ways you can find people to come in and join your team for whatever reason it is, all right? So we got like VAs and we've got media buyers and stuff like that. What you need to do, right? This is, there's many answers, but you've got to be a leader. So you've got to make them understand your vision and sell them on that vision and give them incentives and reasons why this is going to help them as well. Because like I said, you can hire people up, and we've done that. We hire people up. We don't really sell them on the dream or like our vision for them and things like that. And we don't set the right expectations. And then of course, like human beings, it's natural. Like naturally we want to put in the least effort. It's just how humans operate, right? So what incentive do they have to over deliver and work hard to grow our business as well? So if you sell them and lead them, they're going to feel more compelled to like be coming along with them. And like I said, so like that'd be my best advice: lead them and help them see your vision as well. Then they're going to feel compelled to help you, if that makes sense, man.
Definitely, man. Definitely. It's amazing. And when it comes to like the Facebook ad side of things, you know, the media buying, is that something, because I know a lot of people that come to me, they're like, oh, I haven't got time to learn Facebook ads. And then they're sort of stuck between the whole, do I do outreach or do I like deep dive into Facebook ads and like master Facebook ads before I then go heavy on outreach? So what's sort of like your opinion on that in terms of, do you think you need to be a master of the Facebook ads before you start doing outreach?
So that's funny, yeah, because I really don't
I
even,
know your answer already, Alf. I love it, but
I don't really know Facebook as myself. Like Mia had the foundation, but we got a team member. But again, people overthink it too much, Ollie. You know, oh, I don't know whether to do outreach or master Facebook ads. Like you could do an hour of outreach a day and an hour of Facebook ads a day. And let's say you work a 9 to 5 job, you still got 2 hours left in the day. You can balance it, but what people do is they make up these stories in their mind and they're like, oh, I don't know which one to do. You need to get clear on where you're trying to get to first and then reverse engineer that. So again, it's like, I see it all the time. People overcomplicate things so much. Like, oh, do I need a website? This, and this. It's like, if you're trying to grow a business, there's three main things. It's like marketing your business, right? However you're going to do that, whether that's cold outreach, whether that's YouTube videos like yourself, whatever it might be. Then it's selling that service or promoting that service. And then it's delivering the service. That's all it really comes down to. So break down what those require for whatever business you're trying to get into, and then just create a plan and then take action on the plan step by step. That's all you can do. There's no there's no magic answer. And I think what people do is they ask these questions to kind of validate their uncertainty or why they're not taking action. They know the answer within. If they just go within and ask, like, what do I need to do? The answer will present itself, man.
Amazing, man. Amazing. John, when you get in a Domino's pizza, what side are you getting?
Oh, what side? What sides or what side?
What sides are you getting with your Domino's pizza?
Man, I ate a Domino's pizza last, was in Amsterdam. Sides is gonna be. I'm trying to think, man. I don't really get sides, if I'm being honest with you. If I am, it'd be the chicken.
Large pizza.
Yeah, I'll go a large pizza, but chicken strippers, if anything, man, that'll be my go-to.
Strippers, I love it. I love it. Obviously, this is the Designer Future podcast. It's very chilled, very relaxed, and you know, the aim is to just inspire and motivate others, which I definitely think your channel is doing at the moment. You know, I love seeing your students like testimonials and speaking about how they went from A to B. But where is John going to be in the next 12 months? So if I was to get you on a year from today and have another conversation with you, where is John at that moment in time?
Yeah, so my next goal, my next kind of project I'm working on is bringing out an online training program. I bought the domain name. I'm so happy at this. I've been telling people it's myntrepreneur.com. All right. So I truly believe that when it comes to setting up a business, 80% is mindset, 20% is tactics, whereas everyone's chasing 80% of tactics and if that 20% of mindset. So my goal is to really transform the entrepreneur space by bringing out my teachings that I've learned over my past 3 to 4 years on my entrepreneurial journey and impact thousands of people with that, man. So that's kind of it. I've got my own goals as well that are going to be there, but the vision is to really transform thousands of people's lives by helping them master their mindset. And I know if I can teach this to people, it will help them transform their life, man. So that's kind of the long term where I'll be in a year from now, man.
Amazing, man. And we're sort of done when it comes to my questions, but I know you've got so many golden nuggets in you for the rest of this sort of period. But if you could really just break down your vision with mindset, like you said, you're going to be bringing out a program. And listen, guys, people watching and listening, I'm going to leave John's stuff. This is something you guys need to buy when he releases it. So go check him out. But to say that and almost plug what you're going to be delivering, when it comes out, if you could just sort of wrap up your opinion on mindset, like what would you sort of leave this episode with?
Yeah, so the way I'd see it is like this, man. If I said to you, Olley, I've got 2 cars here, right? One's a Ferrari, one's an old banged up Peugeot, right? Which car would you prefer, man? If you're let's say you're trying to drive, I don't know, you're trying to drive somewhere today. You need to drive there today. Which car would you prefer?
The Ferrari.
All right, exactly. Everyone's gonna pick the Ferrari, man.
It's gonna, yeah.
So if I tell you though,
you tell me how
the Ferrari doesn't.
Peugeot is.
Yeah, but no, the Peugeot works. It just doesn't look the best, right? But if I say to you, I'm like, yeah, but the Ferrari doesn't have an engine, but you can use the Peugeot. It's going to drive you there. Then you're going to pick the Peugeot, right? And this is the way I see it, man. It's like there's so many online courses out there. There's hundreds and thousands of YouTube videos. You can get coaches cheap, right? All the tactics are there. Those are the Ferrari. That's the tactic, right? But the mindset's the engine for the Ferrari. So if you don't have the mindset, right? If you don't have this on point to take you to the destination, you can work on all the tactics you want. You can study the outreach methods and this and this and this, but it's not going to get you very far, man. But if you have the right mindset, which is the Peugeot, over time, you'll be able to become that car you want to become, right? If that makes sense. So it really comes down to that. If you don't have the right mindset, it's going to be impossible for you to get to where you're trying to get to. But if you work on your mindset, it's going to be so much easier for you to just get to your destination.
Amazing, man. Amazing. And I think that's one key thing that really stuck in my head from watching one of your videos was something you mentioned a lot was like, what does the John just making X amount per month think, do and feel, or something along those lines. And you basically solidify the fact of like, you need to become the person that's achieving X, not try and figure out the secret path to getting there, right? You need to become the person that is worthy of achieving those goals. And I think that's so powerful, man. Thank you so much for coming on, John. And I'm going to leave your links in the description below. telling you guys, go check out his channel. Very, very good videos on there, case studies, and just a mindset, man. I think mindset is so overlooked when it comes to online business or running a business in general. So yeah, I definitely think you're doing something very, very unique within the SMMA space. And yeah, man, congratulate you for everything you've been doing, and wish you all the best.
Olley, man, it's been a pleasure. And yeah, thank you for having me on today, man.
Wicked. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and I shall speak to you in the next episode. Take care, guys. Peace.
Hollywood 6.